And we are live with Ember Gaming. I am Leo. Hello, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Hey, what's going on, Leo? And I'm Fel. This is first of, I think both of our first casts over into the Ember Esports. We have the IBSG Emerald Cinder League Playoff Week 1 matchup between Definitely Not CB and Phantom Troupe Lucifer. Both of these teams are sitting at the 5 and the 6 seed, ready to get their hopefully their non-elimination out of the way and get their playing into the actual playoff brackets. How are you feeling about this matchup? You just excited to get into it or what?
I love great competitive League of Legends, so I'm pretty excited to see what they're going to be cooking up.
Oh yeah. Okay. So since we're a little late on production, the game is actually already underway. So we're going to transition over into the draft real quick. We'll do a quick analysis of it, and then we'll get into it. On the blue side, we have Definitely Not CB. Looks like they're going for. We don't have the name of the guys there, but we do. I do. Real quick, we do have on Definitely Not CB. We have Woven Alchemist in the bot lane or in the top lane. Applejack's in the jungle. Momo, we'll just say Momo in the mid. Alpha Cyru in the bot lane, along with CB Girthquake at support, and then Phantom Troop Lucifer, Redface Beast in the top lane, dragging it out in the jungle. Sanctum in the mid lane. Barberjunks in the bot lane with his support Dark Archon. And as we look at this draft, what are you thinking here, Leo? Do you have a side that you're thinking might have a better than the other, or no?
Well, I do not know who the top laner is for
Yes.
Phantom Troop, but I do like the CC and the fact they do have a Poppy to get any disengages out, like the Leona or the Ornn,
Mhm.
especially looking at the Viego into the fight. For the side of Definitely Not CB, obviously got a great tanky bursty team, and Viego looking to reset and carry the team, but whether they can pull it off will be just something to watch in the Rift.
Yeah, 100%. It's always good, especially down in these IBSG leagues. You like to see a lot of CC, a lot of easy to pull off fights and ultimates and stuff like that. So we're gonna get onto the Rift as we go into here. Little thing I like to do as we see Last Revan's production quality always top notch. Do you have a pick for this first game once we see who this top laner is for the side of Phantom Troop? See if we can get a good caster curse or a good caster. Oh, it's actually an Ari in the mid lane is what we were missing. So it'll be the Poppy, Amumu, Ari, and then the Ash Seraphine in the bottom.
I gotcha. So for the blue side, definitely not. We do have Woven Alchemist with the Ornn, Applejacks on that Viego, Mo, Dev Vibin on the Oriana, Alpha with the Ezreal, CB Girthquake on the Leona, and for PTL we do have Poppy, the Mangalorean, Mumu, drag it out, Sanctum on the Ari. It's a red-faced beast with the Ash and Dark with the Seraphine.
Yeah, and as we do come into here, there is a little bit of a backstory to this Definitely Not CB crew on the blue side here. Early on, they were actually losing a lot and then ended up having to change basically their entire roster. The whole team almost had to quit. And then got a couple of emergency roster fills, changed it up a little bit, and now have actually cemented themselves in the fifth place in this league here. So definitely one of the more resilient teams. I think we'll see that come through here on the Rift today, as you know these even though it's a best of three, we still end up having a lot of back and forth tempo changes, things like that, and a team that's like resilient and can bounce back from something as bad as almost having to quit usually has a pretty good leg up in there.
I do agree. I am enjoying the Poppy counter pick with the Ornn. Definitely going to be pretty tough to play against and a gank, especially in this early game. So let's see if the Ari, Seraphine, and a Mumu combo can pull it off with these, quick hasty picks later on in the game.
Yeah, and I do like the Viego. It's very strong into tanks and stuff, but the Poppy does negate a lot of what Viego wants to be able to do, right? He wants to be able to get in there, and without the use of his ult, he wants to be able to like kind of jump in and stuff. And as long as Mandalorian has good spacing and is able to put themselves between Viego and the carries, even though Viego is kind of a tank killer and usually has a good avenue of being able to deal with these tanks, Poppy's one of those ones that really just negates a lot of what he likes to do. As we see, both of these junglers are starting to go towards their bot lane, but it looks like Viego is actually went all the way down to his Gromps and then is taking this as a fight breaking out in the top lane.
And we do have Poppy controlling the narrative just with that early aggression pressure, and you cannot run into her as she does have that W that procs and just negates you from trying to walk up to her. It's definitely a commanding lane, but I do like these two junglers full clearing with the bot lane getting some pressure to make sure that they get that scuttle.
Yeah, and who is Wolf and Alchemist tries to go back in there. We have seen a lot of, at least I've seen a lot of this sort of play where you get one lane, especially in the bot lane, to pressure as much as you can and push the tempo of the wave into the other side, and then just have your jungler as they full clear coming in into the scuttle. So he actually bypassed one of his camps to get to the scuttle to get that, but we'll be walking across a ward here. We'll see if Alpha Cyru and Girthquake actually get caught out by this, but Red Face and then letting the wave come in as here comes the gank.
Pop, the Amumu is just gonna look through, not gonna get much as it is spotted by a ward, and you do see the bot lane just respecting the Amumu. So it does tell the enemy that, hey, we have a little bit of danger just coming through as another initiation comes from the top side, and Ornn getting the better hand as the Viego tries to walk up for the stun, but the flash will be enough to get the Poppy into safety.
Yeah, that's just instant flash by Mandalorian there. Maybe they weren't sure. Maybe the W is on cooldown, but definitely not what you want as the Poppy is. Like, you're now after the first initial wave or initial push into the turret. Like you saw, it almost killed, Wolf and Alchemist early on, but now having to do as a fight bringing down the bot.
A bit of trade happening with no mana on the Ashe. They're wanting to back off a bit, but the damage does come through from the Seraphine, which will just negate anything that's happening in the bot lane.
Yeah, I think between that and the amount of minions that were there, scared him off a little bit. Girthquake is actually going to stop the back, so that stopping the back of the Seraphine there is absolutely huge. She's going to come back. She's going to miss about half a wave of experience potentially if they let this little mini freeze that they have in the bot lane push, and I like how Alpha is actually doing a decent enough job of letting that happen as the ultimates come out for the mid lane.
The charm does connect on the Orianna as the ultimate goes through. The ignite's just gonna be enough, and the Orianna does go down. While we have Girthquake looking for a little bit of pressure from the bot lane. Not gonna be enough as the Ori gets out to safety.
Yeah, it's something you really have to worry about when you're playing Orianna into this matchup, is when she hits that 6 power spike, if you don't have your 6, you just need to back off and get out, right? Like, you need to succeed the wave, maybe the couple of CS that you thought you were going to be able to get, but now Ahri sitting on her first kill here. Sanctum, showing their prowess on this champion and getting ready to, we've seen time and time again through seasons and seasons, Ahri is one of those champions that just is allowed to roam, turn the entire game on their head, and just do so much once they get it, if they get an early lead, and Sanctum already sitting on top of that. So we'll see if they can transition this, or if Viego and Orianna can find a way to kind of shut this one down. But if you're on the side of definitely not CV, you definitely want to see a turnaround or an answer for this before it gets out of hand.
Agree with you 100%, as the pressure given by the Viego for the Ornn is just making a good CS lead, as Poppy is just push under turret, having to fend for her life just a bit.
Yeah, she is, and just in the item disparity there, what I was trying to get to before the Ahri kill is that Ornn, outside of being able to buy his own items for him, after that first little skirmish that they had, he went back and bought the parts of Abamis and got already had the Doran shield, but was able to buy parts of Abami while she's sitting on a Tears. Now it looks like Dragon is going to be the next objective, as there's 4 here.
Indeed, the Viego will have to flash out. Was spotted out on that ward with PTL having 4 members responding for Dragon, and that's just going to go in favor of Team PTL.
Yeah, it is uncontested. I think this is a smart play by Applejacks. Just get out of there. Don't try to be cute or anything. You're obviously caught out. And I love the call from Phantom Troupe, right? They're saying, hey, we need to make sure that this Viego doesn't get ahead at all. Already lost a little bit of CS, but kind of made back up for it. Dragging it out has. So good on them to just make the call, send 4 members, don't mess around. You already have an Ahri that has prio in the mid lane. Just give up the little bit of CS on the bot lane and secure this Dragon so that you don't have to worry about any any sort of lead coming out. But the problem is now is that on the top side, with the grubs starting to spawn here, Woven Alchemist has been able to bully this Poppy out of the lane for the most part. So we'll see if Ahri's lead is enough to make this 3v2 something that they can deal with, or if, you know, definitely not CB are going to be able to take this back. But it does look like Viego wants to get a piece of the Samumu action up by his red side.
Indeed, we do see the Viego trying to grab this. The smite's going to go down. It will be in favor for Amumu as level 6 comes up. Poppy with a follow-up Q going on the engage as the Ahri follows up for the Viego. And a bit of an overstep and miscalculation for Applejacks as he walks into the enemy jungle with no coverage.
Yeah, no coverage, and Amumu bandage toss following the ultimate has to be like one of the saddest feelings if you are Applejacks, right? You're like, okay, I'll just ult over the wall. I'll be able to start the grubs. Oh, never mind, Ahri's coming. I really need to get out of here. Oh, never mind. He's stuck onto me. You know, so very unfortunate for him, but at the same time, another very fortunate play for Phantom Troupe is they're sitting here with a nice little 1k gold lead. They have the first 2 objectives to their names, and they are the team that out-tanks and sort of outscales for the most part, you know, into the late game, as you have the Seraphine and the Ashe setup and everything, as Momo and Sanctum are fighting now. Flash coming out of Ahri real quick before any real fight starts. So see this
Ultimate coming off from the Ornn. Will it be enough? Another flash does come out, which will burn it from the Mangalorean, as we do have a Mumu trying to cover. They do not have an ult, which is now going to be a 2v2. Ultimate being hit by the Viego. It turns into a 2v1 at that point, and they're just maybe chasing down this Ornn. Will it be enough damage? No, they're going to respect the Viego being spotted as Momo comes in to try to help this out. Will she get the shockwave? The flash comes out from Mumu, and great execution, and nothing happens for, you know, the side of blue. And you're wondering if there's just pressure that they're feeling to make something happen in this early game.
Yeah, I really think that Woven, I know that he's low now, but prior to that, with Applejacks after taking the popular, as the Ashe ult comes in.
It does come out, but a little too late, as they were just going to use it for self-defense, although no play is going to occur there.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen Woven Alchemist, knowing that the Applejacks was coming back on this Viego to that fight, turn the fight instead of eating away, actually just trying to turn onto them and keeping them invested into that. It would have also given Momo a little bit of time to come up there and then maybe not have to arrive so late to that play, as they're going to miss another wave in this mid lane. So now that is a almost 1k gold lead on this Ahri over Orianna. This is not looking good for Momo at the moment. It doesn't feel like it's only a 1k gold lead, right? Like we're watching this game and it just feels like Phantom Troupe is just so far ahead of definitely not CB so early on in this game. Like, what do you do at this point? You know, if you are definitely not, are you trying to get a pick? Or are you just trying to do something, or what?
As the Seraphine ultimate goes on, the Leona Mumu looking for that Q, but it's just barely gonna miss, as the ult does go down on 2 members as they try to do a re-engage, with Leona just not having enough tankiness to go down, with the Ashe grabbing the kill and the Mumu just flipping the fight, as another play just desperately goes into the hands of PTL, and now they're in a great position as the leads just continue for the red side.
Yeah, it has. And it's sort of bubbled into, you know, 2.5, and now they're poised to take the second dragon here, which is coming up in 45 seconds. So if you can get either a quick B, or you can, Dragon It Out can go in, steal some, if you want to be spicy, you know, go in there, steal some jungle camps away from this Viego, really put him behind, as
Ahri's just going to pick up another kill, and she's going to be 3-0 on her champ with that completed item, man. You're kind of guessing whether the damage from Ori, the fact that she's behind, it's going to be a, you know, it's going to be a real setback, because that's something they're definitely going to be looking for in team fights, and she's just been disabled this game.
Yeah, I don't really know if there's a good way for Momo to really get back into this. They just seem to overstep and just be getting caught out by this Ahri, just almost unaware that, like, what the cooldowns are, right? Like, as the level 6 hit, you know, Momo was still level 5, wasn't able to really do anything with it. Then the second kill that she just got on there was just like, as soon as the ultimate was up for Sanctum, just boom, all in, and with Malignance and, you know, the Spellslinger shoes already upgraded now, like, you're you're just a sitting duck, right? And there's not really much you can do. This is about to be a 2-level disparity between these two champions, and if definitely not CB aren't able to curtail this growth from the Ahri, like this game could be over really quickly.
Indeed, indeed. The pick composition for PTL is just what they want to do, as Ash just gains nothing but vision around the map, as they know exactly where the jungle is going to be, which does put more pressure on the Viego. But then, as you see, just another dragon falling to the side of red.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an insurmountable lead, right? You get a good you know, Solar Flare coming down from Girthquake maybe into a good Shockwave, you know, and a nice little team fight. The problem is it doesn't feel like definitely not CB is going to be able to actually push a team fight here anytime soon. It just, yeah, there's just these little scraps that are happening.
We do have another scuffle for the Seraphine ult with Ezreal trying to hit a Mumu, just going on the Earthquake, and another overstep for controlling the vision. It's just not going to be enough, as Viego tries to grab the reset, but the Ahri is going to say, no, it's going to be mine, and that is my jungler. You're not killing it, as she grabs another kill for Team PTL. As another trade goes in, the charm does go off, the barrier is going to be popped, and we see this Ahri just being dominant in the game. Will it be enough, as the Seraphine's going to clean up the kill, and it's an 8-0 lead for PTL.
PTL had 4-0 on this Ahri. We saw her coming up on the top side. Obviously, there wasn't enough. Actually, you know what's weird is Applejack's re-engaging onto that Amumu. There was vision of the Ahri in the pit. She came around the side of the pit. You can see on the minimap there that there is a ward that should have caught her, which did catch her, but just not good map awareness from Applejack's on this Viego. I think that at this point they're just pushing a little bit too much, and they need to kind of let these plays come to them instead of trying to fight. When you're down, you know, 4K gold, and you know, your bot lane, everybody except for your top lane is down. You got to start playing around that top lane, around that Ornhorn. Maybe concede this bot or mid turret, and then try to start changing where your lanes are. Because right now, Ezreal and Leona should be mid answering Sanctum instead. She's about to 1v2 Applejacks and Momo here.
The Shockwave does go off, as Ahri is going to be running for her life as 3 members continue, but she's going to pop her ult and just grab into safety, as Seraphine comes in just to block that engage, with the Ezreal being hit, but not enough to take down Sanctum in this game.
That's why you take Scorch. That's so unfortunate. If you're the Ezreal, you feel so bad about that. You just got her down to like 14 HP. That's you know, it doesn't feel good right there. Now, as Woven Alchemist is having mana troubles here on the Poppy, but we are going to try to get a small gank from Applejacks. He's sitting on a ward here, and he's not careful. Yeah, does look like the Rift Herald now is going to be going over to the side of PTL as well. They're just in control of they're in complete control of this map, and Ahri's about to come down for Ezreal with the Malignants. Their ultimate is about to be up in about 25-30 seconds as Ash Arrow comes out.
Flash gonna go on the Ori, and as PTL has their priority straight, they already swapped in the bot lane for the mid and the mid for the bot in order to get this Rift Herald, and it just looks like they're playing on the same page.
Yeah, and it actually might not be a bad idea to leave Ezreal under the turret there. At least he can phase shift out of there when Ahri comes in. Either way, wherever Ahri's at, they need to have somebody. I mean, they don't have anybody that can really take it, right? Like, if she gets on top of, if she lands a charm onto basically anybody, including the Ornn, they're probably dead, right? Or at least going to have to back at like 10% HP. So I don't really know the answer for this, of what they can do to really stop this Ahri, but the Orianna sitting under turret getting killed is not the answer.
Indeed, they do definitely have to slow the game down in order to play to their strengths for the side of, what is it, DNC?
CB, not CB, definitely not CB. Yeah,
DNC, definitely not whatever, CB. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just learning the teams first time, guys. Me too. But yeah, they do have to slow down the pace in order for them to catch up and wait for the Ornn's upgrades to come out. And at this point of the game, with the Ahri being so far ahead and the pick composition from PTL, they're just playing it to their strengths.
Yeah, we are going to see a little bit of a push here on the top side from the Ornn. He's going to get caught out, but I don't know if sending 3 people here is the call, but we'll see.
As we do have a fight starting up with the 3 members looking at this Ornn. Ash almost at her charges, as she's just going to be slowing and wearing down Ornn. Will it be enough damage? Yes. As 3 members just go off on the rampage and take up the top laner, and it's just going to set them a bit more, as we're 9-0 with a 5.2 gold lead, and Rift Herald's going to be spawned out of this top side.
Now, I'll admit when I'm wrong. That was the perfect call. You had the Rift Herald there. You take out the Ornn, you get the smash. You're gonna be able to ride this into the tier 2 top side as well. And when they do that, they're basically going to be able to sneeze onto this onto this mid lane turret and get that down. This whole map is going to be opened up wide, and I'd like to see them now start to get some more offensive vision over on the side of the dragon. They do still have 3 members pushing in this tier 2, and it looks like definitely not CB is willing to trade their tier 1 and 2 mid and top for this one dragon.
Now they are just, you know, shaking hands saying you can have it, but the money, gold lead plating just going into the pockets of PTL, and as their members just go into the bank and just get that cash flow going.
Yeah, they did. And oh, okay, Girth. Fancy feet on Girth. The first one to make Sanctum Mr. Charm is now they're going in.
As the Ahri tries to get away for her life, they do have a response from the Ashe, and she does hit Applejacks, and 2 members jumping on top of Girthquake as they will go down for the bait from PTL was just set up amazing.
Yeah, I think if Ashe would have actually let another play.
The damage from the Ahri and Ashe is just too much as Applejacks gets instantly deleted on that play.
Yeah, this one might be out of the reach. This is Phantom Troupe's game to lose. I mean, at this point, they could actually get I think this would be a perfect game, right? If they did end up losing one of the dragons, but no turrets down, 11-0 on the scoreboard. If you are definitely not CB, I think this is the time where you say, okay, we need to start thinking about the next game. What do we do? What are we going to do different? I don't hate their draft. I just hate the way that they played it early on. And I think that they should have played a little bit more to their top side, or getting Viego farmed up a little bit better than he was, because by the time that he started showing up, it was already like Amumu was already stronger than him, right? And you have to wait for a little bit for your Viego to kind of catch up. It like teeter-totters back and forth just a little bit. But I do think that they tried to jump the gun and they got a little under pressure when they lost the first dragon, and then tried to invade the Amumu by himself with no follow-up. And that was kind of like where this whole entire game sort of flipped on its head. But they are trying to kill this Ahri.
Indeed, the elusive Sanctum just trying to get away. She's gonna dash and flash, and it's just not gonna be enough. Well, she goes back in, maybe for a bit of some flex, and the kill and shutdown will go down to the Ahri. But looks like she are the wrong way, perhaps.
It almost looked like she tried to go back in because she knew she was dead anyways, and was trying to just get as much kill, you know, like almost like limit testing, or just thought maybe she'd be able to kill the Ezreal before he killed her. But Alpha getting the last hit on there, and maybe this is their way in, right? That's 1,000 gold in the pocket of your AD carry. Does have the QSS now, doesn't have the Manamune completed. I probably would have liked to have seen that completed before the QSS, but I do understand with the charm, with the Ashe ult, you know, you want that on, you know, in your back pocket, especially since your Leona is not going, I'm forgetting the name of the item, but the one that allows, you know, them to cleanse you as well. So this might be something that, you know, they're just going to have to sit on for a little bit until they can start pumping out damage. But a lot of damage is lacking on the side of definitely not CB, especially with the Ezreal having to itemize so defensively early on here.
Now, this is a bit interesting, but I do see a Thornmail instead of a Locket or a Bando Pipes for the side of Do Not. I'm not sure if that's an intended item, but it is quite interesting to see coming off of Leona.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of, I guess, standard healing from the side of PTL either. So the Thornmail is a little weird. Ashe would be the only one that you'd be affecting, but more so, you're going to have Dark Archon shielding. Sanctum shouldn't be auto-attacking you that much, so that Grievous Wounds probably won't pop. But they are setting up a nice, easy Death Brush here as they do the Baron. They are seeing Momo coming in here, so I do think this is going to be easy for them to take. And hopefully, if you're do not, or definitely not CB, you're not overstepping here. And you don't give them 3 free kills while your jungle's on the bottom side of the map with the Ornn.
That is correct. Perhaps some miscommunication as just 2 members on the bot lane trying to just get some gold in their pocket as the Baron's going to go down. But you will have that 6.2 gold lead now with this empowered minions coming down in the mid lane. And if a fight breaks out, and if you guys are trying to fight this, it will be very costly.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way that they really get out of this at all. I mean, you can maybe if they overcommit, if they overstep, they're under the turret. You know, they are 1-3-1ing if they jump the gun here. But yes, I like the call to not go for the Baron. I just would have liked to have seen the call executed a little bit differently. If I am definitely not CB, I would have liked to have seen them maybe go for you know, the jungle and the bot and push the mid wave and get that turret, you know, or shove that top wave that was coming your way. When you've already made the call not to contest the Baron, sitting over there trying to clear wards in your jungle is just waiting for an Ahri to ult over and then charm you in the face and kill you. So they got lucky that it didn't happen, but yeah, you know, turtling is a strategy here that I think they're going to have to go with here as they try to look for another pick on the Sanctum.
Yo, will come off for the Ahri as she does hit the charm. The ultimate comes off for the Ori. Will the damage be enough? And it is just enough for the Ahri as she's just playing this top side again and just overstaying as it bleeds some life back into the side of DNC.
Yeah, it does. You know, you trade an Ahri for a dragon. It doesn't sound like an even Stevens kind of deal, but you know, you're gonna take whatever you can get. You're not gonna win a fight over there against that against the entire team of PTL. So you know, you take what you can get. You the little minor victories. You do end up trading as now the
arrow goes on to the Ezreal. He will be able to get away, as I'm also questioning why Cleanse wasn't brought this game, as they do have a great amount of CC with Leona looking for an ultimate as the follow-up from the Orin does engage. Viego's trying to look for the kill as two enemies just get destroyed and sent out to outer space as they're gonna reinitiate on this Orin, and the damage coming out from Red-Faced Beast is just more than enough to chunk down Woven Alchemist as a trade goes on, and now we have 5 members from PTL alive.
Yeah, Nagari's coming down. That was a beautiful ult from Mandalorian on the Poppy to get the two damage dealing members away from the Ornn there. So really happy to see, you know, that used well. You know, it's gonna probably be just enough to pressure them. I would like to see them just push 2 lanes here and kind of stack some sieging, but as of right now, they are 1-3-1ing again, or 1-1-3ing this time now, but open themselves up to a little bit of mismatched numbers. We are seeing that Applejacks is starting to do a lot of damage, right? So if this Viego and Orianna can start to pop off just a little bit more, this could be something that you know, does end up changing if they're able to turtle, and if PTL ends up losing some patience and isn't able to close out, they could start to overstep, and that could be definitely not CB's way back into this. Just get a pick here, pick there. Don't lose your Nexus. Don't lose, you know, your tier 3 turrets and your inhibitors, and just keep the minion wave on the other side of your baseline and make them overstep and mess up and come to you.
Agree with you completely. As Baron will spawn in 2 minutes and 20 seconds, as we will most likely have another fight going to break out for this, as both teams are just looking for vision control.
Yeah, and unfortunately for DNCV, like, they're defensive wards, right? And if you're PTL, obviously you control the map here. It is yours. The entire jungle for the side of DNCB is yours. There's now another fight breaking out.
Charm being used by the Ahri. The Orange just gonna have to back up, as she does have another member with her this time for some backup.
Yeah, and I think they're just going to use this to kind of pressure the wave here. Unfortunately, Ezreal is not the best at wave clearing in the mid lane, so it's easy for Ashe and Seraphine to come in here. So it is going to be like a 2v2 and a roaming Applejacks on this Viego. They have to try to be able to get a pick here if they want to be able to contest this Baron or this game at all.
1 minute till Baron spawns. We see both teams just trying to posture up in order to get this. One team wanting it, one team trying to prevent it, but the pick is going to be what's going to make or break the fight, whether the fight can happen, and they do get a good shockwave ultimate, but Ahri looking for the charm. Ultimate is going to be used as an Ezreal ult misses, and she's going to be holding on to those 2 stacks, but they are putting more pressure on the side for DNC.
Yeah, and there's just a couple missed ults there. Thank God Ornn didn't throw out his horn there too, because Ori Shockwave missed the Ezreal ult miss. I think, you know, just getting a little sloppy with the trigger pull in there. you know, the flash was burned away from the Orianna, so she's not going to be able to get out of that charm as easily again, as Mandalorian might be caught out
Poppy
here.
overstepping, but a great charm coming out from the area to negate the play as the arrow does come out and misses the Leona. 4 members, 5 members grouping up towards this Baron, just looking to get the priority as a fight will indeed ensue soon in this fight. Unless they just give this up, that would be very debatable.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate if I saw DNCB just push the mid and bot wave out and concede this Baron and go back to turtling. We saw that PTL wasn't able to do anything with his Alpha goes
Ezreal
forward.
trying to go in for a flash, the Q being used, and he's just going to overstep, and the kill's going to go down to the Ashe as they're now going to have priority as one of their damage dealers has gone down for the side of DNC, and you're going to wonder what was Ezreal thinking there.
Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe he was going to WQ and hit his E. I don't know. That was like a weird... Yeah, I mean, he still has flash up. So that was just a phase shift in onto the Ashe. Maybe he just thought he could take it. But yeah, that's a 3-item Ashe, and you're a Triforce, you're a mana Ezreal, and now you've kind of put your whole entire team at risk here.
Arm going off on the area, and she's just going to be instantly bursted as another member goes down, and you have a 45-second timer without your technical second form of initiation for Team CL, DCB?
DNC.
Still learning. Still learning. But we do have PTL just looking, engaging on this inhibitor turret as it will go down as they're just going to siege and grab the next one. They are a member short, so they're going to have to respect the 5 members just sieging up with this empowered Baron.
Yeah, and they might actually just be able to end this as we are going to start getting a couple upgraded items. We have the Triforce upgraded on the orange fight breaking out.
Being used as a fight breaks out. Ornn Horde being thrown out. It does get 4 members. Leona goes in. A kill's going to go in favor for Ornn as Ezreal picks up the Amumu. And another miraculous play coming out from the side of DNC as Ashe in the backline is trying to do the best to burst out, but she is getting engaged on the kiting, and damage coming out from the Vayne as she does have the lower dominance is just more than enough to take out the Ornn as 3 members with the Empower Baron just look to maybe end the game with Poppy does land the stun as another member will go down, and game here will most likely head to the side of PTL with Ashe being healthy enough to push out this wave.
Oh, the hero play from the Orianna just couldn't come out. That Ornn Horn almost... this is going to be the end here as Poppy gets on top of the Ezreal. Poppy was about to ult and send everybody away and then kill the... I think it was the Ornn by himself or the Leona, but the Ornn Horn actually stopped Poppy's ult from happening. So it was almost a really good play. They did sort of turn it around. They did end up getting Sanctum in the end there during that fight, but... yeah, just got a little bit too far out of it, and you know, Phantom Troupe taking game 1 here, they were able to just kind of get to the mid/late game and just smack definitely not CB around with their wallets. Even though DNCB probably had a better late game team fight composition outside of maybe the Amumu. I think every other one of their members I like better for the late game team fights. They just never really got to be able to play that way, right? They never got to be able to just have the Ornn and Leona start something off and then pick their targets off and then go at it, right? They were just so far behind from the get-go. Sanctum on this Ahri just put on a mid-clinic that game. And if that's what's going to be coming up, you know, next game or the game after that, then definitely not CB is going to have to find a way to sort of nullify Sanctum or like basically save Mojo from having to deal with that one-on-one.
I agree with you there. The pin composition from PTB, it just, they worked it well, played to their strength, and came out with the victory.
Yeah, that they did. So, yeah. So, with that being said, down 1-0, we'll see if definitely not CB can collect themselves, get in ready for game 2. I do believe this is a fearless draft, so I don't think that any of these champions are going to be available for the next one. We'll check with Prod and we'll get back.
The wolf she cries at night. A breath had born in the black wind where the shadows lie. Deep inside despair, our hearts grow fierce, our minds aware. We carry on, oh, we carry on, carry on. We carry on,
All right, welcome everybody back to Ember Esports. It's Emerald Cinder League matchup between Phantom Troupe, Lucifer, and definitely not CB. And if you stepped away for 5 minutes, you kind of missed game one. Phantom Troupe, Lucifer kind of took it all upon themselves to just like make quick work of definitely not CB. Especially Sanctum on the Ahri was able to just kind of bully the Ahri out of lane and then basically out of the game. As we're getting into game number 2, Leo, what do you want to see from both of these teams as we move on? Besides the side swap, definitely not CB going over to the red side. What do you want to see from both of them as we get into game 2?
For the side of definitely not CB, I do want to see better lane control, more map awareness, knowing when to play the game fast or slow. Definitely some soft control is what I want to see from them in order for them to pick this game back up. And for Phantom Troop, if they play like they played last game, then it will be most likely another dominant performance.
Yeah, okay. So oh gosh, Smolder in the Mel. So as we get into the bans here, we do for Phantom Troop, we do get the Gwen, the Victor, and the Veigar. And for the side of definitely not CB, we get Sona, Shen, and Aurora, 3 champions they don't want to see on their side. So Phantom Troop, first picking the Mel with the blue side, I do see a lot, and I play a lot. I don't like to admit it, but I do play Mel as an APC in the bot lane. And so it is a good flex into the mid or the bot lane. And the answer from definitely not CB is going to be the Smolder and the Malzahar. If that is a Mel in the bot lane, Smolder is not going to have a good time.
Definitely a questionable pick coming from the Malzahar. Not a champion you see in any competitive play, but perhaps they have something cooking up for the side of definitely not. As just not impressed with that pick. I will not lie.
Yeah, so I think so. I mean, this is IBSG, so we do have to remember that like comfort is going to be something that is prioritized over meta, right? So the things that we see in the higher ups, the diamonds, the emeralds, and then as the master leagues and pro play, obviously we're not going to see a lot of Malzahar unless it's like extremely broken. But I do kind of like if Mojo is not feeling themselves after playing that Ori game and kind of getting a little stomped, in that first game, putting them on something that they're extremely comfortable on, like the Malzahar, which kind of forces a QSS purchase or something else, just by him being him, maybe that is something that works. Maybe they'll just be able to shove the wave and do whatever. But into Mel, if that's not a Mel support, which I'm hoping it's not, I'm hoping it's Mel mid, Malzahar struggles really hard. Like, that is a hard lane to play, if you are, Mojo. So they could be in for another, like, hard game, hopefully not as disappointing as the first one, as the draft is going to be rounded out in the first round. Wukong and Varus for the side of Phantom Troop, and then Janna rounding out definitely not CB's first round. And then the bans will be the Mordekaiser and Ambessa from the side of definitely not CB, and Yorick, and waiting on the second ban here. What do you want to see from definitely not CB as there are 4s about to be picked?
As their draft is kind of pointing out, it's going to be a protect the president type of composition. And if they can pull that one off, and if they reach that Smolder 225 stack later in the game, it will be a win condition for definitely not CB low. So as they head into those 40-minute marks, it could be most likely in favor of them. So if Phantom Troop plays this game quick and fast, they can't deny that.
Yeah, definitely can. And I agree. Protect the president, maybe a Maokai or Sejuani jungle, something like that, where they can really just put themselves in between, kind of like what Phantom Troop did last game when they were on the red side. They had all these tanks, they had all this engage, disengage, super CC. So I wouldn't hate seeing a. Like I said, Johnny, but they are going to go for the Jarvan. So, I mean, this is something you can Cataclysm, you can Nethergrass with the Malzahar, you can, ult with the Smolder on top of that. What I don't like is I don't think that it does a very good job along with the Janna. They kind of do separate things where the Cataclysm and then her ultimate, the Whirlwind, is actually going to knock people away. So you do have a propensity for that to be counterproductive, as the Karma is going to come in from the side of Phantom Troop here. So that is going to be a Mel versus Malzahar in the mid lane, and I'm I'm not excited to see this. I don't think that this is going to go well for the side of definitely not CB in the mid lane.
Indeed, you're correct. It will be a struggling lane as well as your bot lane not having priorities. So hopefully they can round it out with a very nice top lane in order for this Java to play around with. Now, Ori would have been a better pick on the draft for not CB. But as Phantom Troops do have the Karma Wukong initiation with the Varus and the Shogat, they are going to be looking for some speedy plays.
Yeah, they are. And I kind of want to see an anti-tank here. The Gwen was banned, but you could get the Trumble. Oh, a Rumble. Okay, so they're going for the Cataclysm with the exception of the Janna. They are going for the Cataclysm, just everything kind of going in here. And the follow-up on the backside. So this is a different play style that we're going to get from them on this one. It's going to be a more farming-centric, less team fight oriented until the mid to late game comes around. And once we get those 5v5s, if Phantom Troop is caught inside of inside a corridor or inside a pit or something, the Cataclysm can be something that can start this off, and then just a chain reaction of just deaths after deaths. And then, like you said, once the 225 stacks hit, if a Q bounces and then you get the space aids on top, there is a way for definitely not CB to really take this game over, but it's going to take them a very, very long time to get there.
You do want to see that Smolder stacking at the 22-minute mark in order for him to have that. But if Phantom pressures this Smolder, it may be a bit rough. So it's going to be a good matchup on game 2, in my opinion. So let's see how it plays out. Are you excited for the game, Fel?
I am excited. I do think that this is going to be a tall task for definitely not CB. I don't know if Phantom Troops composition is going to allow them to get to the late game like they want. I think the Cho'Gath can deal with the Rumble pretty easily. I think a lot of onus is going to be put on the jungler for definitely not CB. And if game 1 is any indication, it kind of seems like Applejacks was a little bit behind of where they needed to be. So if they can clean up what they were doing in game 1 and move that into game 2 and just kind of change their not their play style, obviously, because they went from Viego to Jarvan, but maybe their timing, pathing, or decision making to get numbers advantages before trying to do weird stuff like the odd invade before the grubs or anything like that. I do think that they have an avenue, but Phantom Troop has such a strong composition with the Karma and Varus in the bot lane with all that poke, with the Cho'Gath in the top lane being a staple, hold the ground and then be just a huge menace. Wukong being able to stealthily get into the back line and get on top of this Smolder, and then meta counters basically everything that they want to do with the exception of the flag and drag and the Malzahar ult, kind of.
100%. So as we do get into this next game, as the players get ready for their drafts. Yep. Ready.
Yeah, so like you said, we're about to get into the game here. As we get into the rift, let's go before we get into this. So we have a little bit since we had a little bit of time to kind of actually talk about the draft and stuff. Who do you got for game 2 in this one? Do you think it's going to be a 2-0 from Phantom Troop, or do you think definitely not CB turns it around here and with maybe the comfort champs that they have selected are able to pull one out?
So my bet, if Phantom Troop plays like they played last game, I do see them pulling out ahead. But if it slips off and it does hit that 40-minute mark at least, definitely more on favor for definitely not CB.
Yeah, I kind of agree, and I do. It's a hard it's a hard avenue for them to really be able to get to that 40-minute mark too, right? Unless Smolder somehow gets ahead. Maybe there's like a nice cheesy early Jarvan gank, just gets the level 2 or 3, goes straight into bot lane, gets the flag and drag onto an unsuspecting Karma and Varus, and then they're able to turn it, and Smolder gets like 2 kills right away, and then is able to get a quick Essence Reaver, and then is able to farm relatively fast to that 225. I do think that's something, but like we were saying, I just think that there's so much of a counter to everything that definitely not CB wants to do. I think that Wukong after level 6 is a little bit better at getting what he wants done and assisting his team than Jarvan. I think the Mel is going to outclass the Malzahar. Although if this is a one-trick Malzahar, or if they're just like really comfortable on it, maybe. And then, yeah, the Karma Varus in the bot lane, that is so much poke to deal with, and Janna can only shield one person at a time. And then I kind of like the Cho'Gath over the Rumble, so I kind of agree with you. I think the Phantom Troupe is probably, at least by draft, going to be able to take this game 2 and close out this series 2-0, but yeah, it is sort of a ticking time bomb for the side of Phantom Troupe if they allow this to go past the 40 minutes, and where Karma Shields and Cho'Gath Health just aren't able to do anything.
Now, as we do wait for the match, Fel, I do have a very, very quick question.
Okay.
Who is that face behind you?
Oh, that's my boy Greaves. He keeps watch over of everything that I do. It's one of my buddies for a fantasy football draft. He was deployed, so we just got the fat head of him. And when I left the military, I took that with me. So he keeps me going, keeps me straight, keeps me on the straight and narrow.
Hell yeah, I love to see that.
First win went to Phantom Troupe. They are up 1-0. They were on the red side, and Sanctum had a hell of a game on Ari, where they just kind of bullied. They kind of bullied. What is it, Mojo, in the mid lane on the Orianna. So a little bit of a mismatch there, and that just kind of like ballooned into a very one-sided victory. So hopefully in this one, if they have to concede objectives and early pressure and stuff like that, I hope that they do it without dying, right? Like I think that's one of the things that if mid lane doesn't die and doesn't give Mel a huge lead, then they can just stay toe-to-toe with them, right? And then in the late game, get the picks, kind of like what Phantom Troupe was doing in game 1, where the picks were kind of, all started off by the Ahri, and she was so far ahead that like it was, but definitely not CB, just didn't really have an answer once things went wrong. And I think their answer here is pretty simple, right? Like things are going bad around the map, just stay patient, keep farming, keep doing what we're doing, and I do think that especially in the later game, not just the Smolder, but the Malzahar, if they can lock down the Mel and keep her from being able to reflect the Smolder ult and the Janna Q and everything, I think that they'll be okay. They just have to stay safe and keep this game as even as possible getting into that late spot.
I do gotta agree. As I did say, I'm new here. Thank you for having me. So what's the divisions that we're looking at on this Ember League?
Well, that's a great question. Yeah, we're both. This is both of our first cast here for the Cinder League. So the winner of this game will end up going into the playoffs. We can pull up the bracket. I'll pull up the bracket here in a second. Okay, so once the winner of this one will end up going to face the winner between the upper quarters, which might be CB, so we're definitely not CB, and might be CB versus XFV Cosmic. And then in the lower quarters, we do have the GCCE Hyrulean Heroes, which I think I might know some of the players on there from other GCCE league players. And then Jolly Roger Black Pearl versus Facing the Dream is on the bottom side of that. So this is a double elimination. So the losers will go into a loser's bracket and they will have a chance to redeem themselves. As we're looking at this, it is going to be weekly. So next Monday night, we will have one of the games from this. And then I think the losers bracket will not be streamed, and that's what they get for losing. Uh, and then, yeah, the playoff bracket, the March 23rd lower semis will be streamed. And then on March 30th, the upper finals will be streamed. It'll be a best of 5. Once we get into the finals, the upper and lower finals, that will be best of 5. So we'll really get into this IBSG deep into the champion pool. It's always interesting when we get into best of 5s, especially if it goes to the 4th and 5th game and you're starting to see like just weird like Yumi Vagar bot lane because they don't know what else to play, or they're just kind of going into this weird stuff. So hopefully, I'm around for that and I'm able to catch that because I absolutely love Fearless 5-game series in IBSG.
Yeah, I agree with you. Fearless coming in, I think we had just regular tournament drafts and you see nothing but the same champions being rinsed and repeated. And, it does push the players to get out their comfort zone and practice other things. And it makes the fight so much more interesting heading into game 5s. It's always a delight to see people being pushed to their brinks.
Yeah, it is. And okay, I got a question. So we got a couple of questions. I got a question for you in chat. If you have any questions while we're in this production pause, waiting for the game to start, go ahead and fire them off. I have a question for you. What is your favorite change from last season into this season?
For me?
Yep.
I personally loved Atacon.
Oh, so you're sad that they got rid of it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I could see that. I do love that this. I do kind of like the fact that they changed the entire pace of the game, though, right? Like last season when it came out and Otacon and everything else, like the entire game was basically designed around scrapping, right? And it incentivized fighting over objectives so much that we were seeing, 30, 40 kill games in regions and professional leagues even where usually games would end with like 15 to 20 kills, right? And the games were a lot shorter. Feats of warfare were absolutely overpowered. So I kind of like the fact that they changed this this season into more lane oriented, right? And for junglers, I'm kind of interested how you feel about this, how you are so incentivized to stay in your jungle and to farm that like if you gank and then you lose your own jungle camps, you're like so far behind, right? Like we see this all the time where there's a jungler that's like 5-2 or 5-1 and they're 30 CS behind, the counter jungler or the counter jungling opposite jungler, and they feel like they're completely out of the game. And even though they've done so well at like prioritizing their lanes and getting their lane leads, they're so far behind just because they decided to gank that it kind of screws them over. So it's like a brand new balance as a jungler that you have to feel like. How have you managed that as a jungler to, with this huge change?
It's definitely something that you want to play, especially with a team that you coordinate and ensure that you're on the same page, whether you're protectively warding, checking vision, supports checking wards on the blue side, especially in the early game. It's just a game of information, and if you do have that on top of the other jungler, then that's how you break open and you take those leads, putting the other one behind as you can gank, take his camp, walk up to the other side, and just information and tracking. It's something that I like to do during the game, and yeah, just getting people on the same page it's basically what you want to do in order to play a very fast tempo style so you do not get far behind.
Yeah, and they kind of got. It's not like they got rid of the objectives, obviously, because you still have Dragon and you still have Grubs and Rift Herald, but they did sort of disincentivize like how much that's worth it. As we are going to get into this game, as the Rift is finally going to get loaded on, we have the classic Raven production getting into the weeds, so to speak, in the river here, as both of these teams looking to either close this out or keep their playoff hopes alive. Welcome to game 2.
And we have Phantom Troupe on the red side this time with Cho'Gath with Red Face Beast dragging it out on the Wukong with Mel on Sanctum on Mel. We do have Bar Jonks on the Varus, as well as Darko-chan with the Karma on the side of definitely not CB. We do have Woven Alchemist on that Rumble, Applejacks with that Jarvan, Momo vibing on the Malzaharts, and Alpha Siryu with that Smolder, with Girthquake on the Janna.
Yeah, we're doing that, and as you mentioned, that is Red Face Beast on the Cho'Gath. So if you're here for game one and you're like, why is Red Face not on an 80 carry anymore? Barbar Jonks was actually subbed out game one. I don't know if maybe they couldn't be there or not. I wasn't in the captain's chat. So we do have the sub from PTL, not in the game now, so they do have their standard lineup here. And I've seen this like the last, I do another league on Friday nights, and we have a 5 in a row now. We're 5-5 where the sub that comes in wins the game, and when they come back out, the regular lineup loses. So we'll see if that happens here.
We do have the level 2 coming off for the side of the bot side for Phantom Troupe as they do exert some pressure, and they are going to be respecting it on the Smolder side, since the damage output from the Karma and Varus will be enough to just push them out respectively.
Yeah, and Janna's gonna have to, or Girthquake's gonna have to be a little bit smarter on that, to not just like walk up into Karma. If Karma would have taken her tether at level 2 instead of the shield, that is at least a flash heal, if not a dead Janna on the top side, or on top of it.
We do have an early flash being used for Red Face Beats, as the Rumble is going to be putting down that flamethrower to create some pressure for himself on the top lane. He is getting a good CS lead as he just pushes out Red Face, as the Bully Rumble gets his prio for this early game on game number 2.
Yeah, it is a little interesting to see Cho'Gath. I've seen for like the last little bit now, we always see Cho'Gath going Hail of Blades for that extra E damage, and Dark Archon missing just a little bit here. So we do see the poke working in favor of PTL's bot lane here. But yeah, we normally see the Hail of Blades on the Cho'Gath so that they can get the E resets. So it'll be interesting to see how well this grasp goes for him. I don't know how much he's going to be able to really proc it too much into Rumble. I know Rumble's technically...
As the tether does come out from the Karma and the damage coming out from the bot lane, as a heal is going to have to be forced to be used, as the pressure for the bot lane is just too much for definitely not CB to handle. With another Q trying to go out, barrier will be popped as they do get the heal and barrier off at the side of Phantom Troupe. So good play by them.
Yeah, it definitely was, and this is going to be a poke Varus, it looks like. They did take the Comet, so I expect a strong shove here to kind of end this one. Oh no. As he does end up stopping, Girthquake's back here, and Girthquake going to have to do their best to not die and soak up as much experience as they can here while dealing with this. So really good job by Barbar and Dark Archon here early on to get this shove. I do think they stayed like half a wave too early trying to get that in. They don't have the wave clear yet, so if Alpha knows how to do this, which he did on the Ezreal, may have a little bit of a freeze, where he's able to just kind of get a lot of free Q stacking here, and Varus not opting for the Tear of the Goddess here. A little surprising, considering that they're going for the poke Varus, no?
Correct, as we see just a little bit of a trade back and forth from the Malzahart and the Mel. As you expect, a little bit of a hard lane with the CS lead does go to the Mel. On the top lane, just CS is evening out from that early push, so just prominent Fame Force coming out for the side of bot side, as we do have Janna and Jarvan looking for this Mel, but they are going to decide to back off as they do spot the Wukong and perhaps be fighting for this Raptors, which maybe goes into the side of Phantom Troupe.
Yeah, and we're looking at the CS for the junglers. PTL dragging it out, doing a really good job. Is another little fight starting up here on the top. I don't think there's going to be much to it here, but we're starting to already see like the early dividends from the Cho'Gath, right? Like able to sort of wait out this weather the storm from the Rumble. He's a huge lane bully. The silence doesn't stop the flame spitter when you land it, so very hard to deal with. But now at this point, with the null magic and the ruby crystal, is able to sustain this entire lane now pretty easily for the Cho'Gath, and that's why I like this pick so much, and wasn't really a huge fan of Woven Alchemist going on the Rumble as the R5 pick.
Indeed, and as the bot lane does have priority for the side of Phantom, they are going to pick up the early Drake, as they're just going to be forced to watch as they were spotted on the ward, but decided to take it either way. We do have a jungler looking for a play. Will he go in? The ultimate is not going to be up, but the pressure from Phantom, it's just going to be a lot for this bot lane to manage.
Yeah, it is, and they're just going to keep doing this. I don't think there's much that DNCB can do unless they get like a teleport from the Malzahar behind them, along with maybe a Jarvan running down for a Cataclysm. But there's so much pressure being put on by the side of PTL's Alpha. Ooh, just barely misses that. Oh, forces out the heal from Dark Archon. If you're the support there, you gotta be like, hey bro, take a step back a little bit. Like, we don't need to give away this lead that we just got. As never mind, because Dark Archon does the same thing, takes a free turret shot for nothing instead of shoving this wave. So a little bit of macro mistakes here from the side of PTL, but that's gonna happen.
Yeah, you can definitely see their excitement as they just disrespect and take these turret shots. But on the other side, we do have the Mouth using the ultimate going in on the Mouth. The Flash will be using her flash to get out to safety. So a nice attempt from the side of DNC as they want to put some pressure on this Mouth this game.
Yeah, and I think that's the right call there, right? Like, you do end up forcing the flash out. Unfortunately, Applejack's used his flash as well with the flag and drag. He kind of missed it, messed up, didn't get the knockup. But now you don't have an ultimate for Momo, and Girthquake coming in. Love this play.
You hitting the Mel, it's still not enough damage as her jungler is hovering to make sure she backs up into safety, with the support roaming from the side of the bot side, leaving the Smolder alive. And you're gonna wonder whether this will be costly or not, for bot lane can just set up a drive on the Smolder.
Yeah, you really have to put a lot of faith in the Alpha here not to be overcome with, or at least overrun by the side of PTL's bot lane, and hope that they can just sort of sustain and get their Qs. But if Barbar and Dark Archon can get to a point where they can get the lane shoving their way and freeze it, this could spell disaster for DNCB's bot lane. But Smolder doing a good job, Alpha doing a good job on the Smolder, as Applejack's waiting around in these wings for so long. That was a wave and a half that he sat inside that brush, waiting to try to get a gank off onto Red Face Beast, and just nothing outside of that. A little bit of time mismanagement, and that kind of screwed them in game one. So he's got to kind of pick up the tempo here. Is when PTL is controlling the tempo like they are, it seems like DNCB just kind of rush into things that they don't really want to do, and they're doing it again here in game two.
Nice dodge coming from the Smolder, making sure they do not connect with that Varus Q. Meanwhile, on the top side, the Void Grubs are already being contested as they do go down for Wukong as he walks out to safety. So you gotta be looking at those timers, because PTL is right on top of these objectives.
Yeah, they are, and that's kind of going akin to with what we were just saying. Like, when he waited in that brush for so long, literally had to back as the grubs were spawning, and Rumble also had to back, so it was an automatic loss of number advantage for the side of DNCB. So they really need to maybe call these out. I don't know if it's a communication issue or if it's just like an awareness issue, but they need to start like calling this out and getting these lanes to, converge. Like, you had Mel backed off with like almost no health and had to restart or recall and change their entire or get new items and stuff. That was the time for you to go and get the grubs, not after sitting back and letting the pressure come to you. And then just kind of giving it up to PTL.
Indeed, as we do have a possible setup for the bot lane, but it will be just missing, as the top lane also going even with a lot of sustain coming from the Cho'Gath. So even though you have the damage on the Rumble, just those spikes and his passive just enough to make him healthy on that lane as well.
Yeah, and you do come back now. We get not just the null magic, but we're getting the full Negatron cloak along with another one and the Bomby Cinder. I'm going to assume that this is going to be not the Sunfire version, the other one. So we'll see. What is it? The Hollow Radiance, on the side of for Cho'Gath. So hopefully he builds that and gets his armor from something else, because I think the wave clear and the amount of damage that you get as you're clearing the wave and Rumble standing in it is going to be huge. So hopefully they go for that. Also, I kind of would have liked to have seen a Heartsteel on the Cho'Gath instead of going straight to a Bami's item.
It is definitely indeed, as he just wants to build some survivability, I believe, and that extra regen is going to help out on that top lane in terms of the matchup. But later on in the team fight, you do want that Heartsteel stacking with that grass that you did bring. So it's an interesting choice, but not too bad, as he will be trying to opt for some magic and armor with this. So a lot of magic will come out from Malzahar and Rumble. So I think it's pretty smart just to build that in order to get control of this top lane in the early.
Yeah. And just know that the later you start stacking, the harder it's going to be. As
we do have a fight breaking out with the Cataclysm getting used, but the flash ulti on the Varus is enough to get her to safety, as Karma's also going to have to burn the flash as Mommy looks to make a call, but the shutdown instantly goes down, and the Varus picks up the trade on Girthquake, as we do have the other mid laner coming around, but the play is a little too late as the first blood goes to Phantom Troupe.
And they still had to play to make. I don't understand why they turned around there. Yes, Barbar did end up killing your Janna, but that's just the Janna. Go and kill them. I would have liked to have seen maybe a flash Cataclysm from the Jarvan instead of flag and drag in. Once that Cataclysm, when you flag and drag and then Cataclysm, and you're trying to commit so hard to this play, they kind of left it open for them to... Ooh, this fight's breaking out here.
Damage coming out on the side of Sanctum, and it will be enough to shut down Girthquake, as another KO goes down for the support, and it's going to be picked up by the mid laner, and they will have prio for this dragon, as the support's just not going to be there in order for it to be a clean 4v4. It's just a 3v4 at this point, so another dragon getting stacked for the PTL.
Yeah, that's two dragons for them. We'll see. The Hexgate dragon is going to be next, so that's a lot of extra damage and stats that are going to go the way of DNCB. Probably one of the best, if not the best, that they could get, especially playing into this Cho'Gath and Wukong, or into this Jarvan, like the squishy team. I think the only thing that might have been better is probably the Infernal Drake. So you get the second best here, and then just Janna or Girthquake on this Janna, just a weird entrance back into the game where they try to take on the Mel by themselves, while the rest of PTL was taking on the dragon. I just think that that's a concede call. That's what we were talking about in between the games. They need to all be on the same page, and they obviously were not. And
Karma is looking for an angle, as she will be tethering, but a little miscommunication from Varus, as they could have easily gotten another kill for the bot side.
He does still have his ultimate, and I think that this still could be, if you're Momo B5 in here on this Malzahar, you're having a much better game than you were the first time, right? At this point, I think they had already died twice, and Applejack's had also died to the Ahri, but. Ooh. They are actually trading pretty well with this mouse. Oof, as the ultimate's going to come out and get him down to about 120 HP left over. So he's going to have to be careful here, as now we are going to get a gank from Applejacks on the bot side here.
Applejack's looking inside of the Varus. The Cataclysm will go down, and it's going to be more than enough as Mom comes down, and Smolder picking up his first kill in the game with a great execution from Applejacks, looking for a play in order to even this game out. It is a 2-for-1 now for definitely not CB.
Yeah, and I really like that he held his flag and drag that time. Just walk up, take the Cataclysm, take the free shot, and now Woven Alchemist is going to have to be careful here that they don't get caught and just give up a good play.
Being used as a Cho'Gath Q, being hit, ultimate used on the Rumble, and the damage is just too much, too little, as Woven gets caught out of position for a trade for basically the bot for the top, as Whip Herald will spawn, and most likely going to go to the side of PTL.
Yeah, and I know that it's huge that you got to kill on the Smolder and stuff, but you cannot just be giving free kills over to this Wukong and this Cho'Gath. He got lucky that Red Face Beast messed up his ultimate there, didn't get the chomp off for the execute, so that will not be a free stack of extra health for the Cho'Gath. But if they waited a little bit, they would have been able to go. Oof. That's so much damage coming out of Sanctum. 1Q is about half the health of this Janna, so Girthquake not feeling too good about themselves right now, I don't think. But yeah, you just can't give up free plays like that after you make a play on the bot side. You know your Jarvan's on the bot side. You know they just, made a big play. Just sit back, concede the wave a little bit. Yeah, I don't know.
Karma Q being hit on the Smolder, whether they look for them, but as a Smolder uses the E to get away as an initiation from the Jarvan, does go down. The kill will go for the Smolder on the Varus as another play. Maybe sought 2 and 2 on the top lane with Smolder just trying to do enough damage to burn out, as pot lane is just neutralized after that death on the Smolder.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's like this should be a first turret for the bot side for PTL here, and then a transition into some deep vision before the dragon, because it's coming up in a minute, and if they can get this third dragon, that's going to put them in a position to really turn this game into basically a mirror image of what game 1 was, as Barbar now on this Varus 2-1, decent 40 CS lead, stacking the mana immune here, already has the Ghost Blade.
Great positioning, but another caught out as Girthquake will just go down instantly by the mouse damage as Wukong's looking to re-engage as another stun does hit with Cyclone hitting another target as the mouse goes down with Dark Akron just getting a kill on the mouse as 2 members go down for DSC for definitely do not CB as they look to control some warding but just get caught and instantly deleted for the side of Phantom. True.
Yeah, this is the Sanctum series right here. Sanctum on this Mel is doing the same thing that they were doing in the first game. They are just getting so much damage put out before these fights even start. They're able to just basically zero Girthquake from the get-go there, and then just the follow-up damage. And good job from dragging it out and everybody else on the team following through. You get the speed-ups from the Karma. Everybody's able to close the gap. And then, as the Cyclone comes out and knocks up the other two, you get the Varus in position. So much damage is being put out here, and PTL just looks like a well-oiled team or a well-oiled machine, that's working on all cylinders right now. And they just took this tempo from game 1 that they had and have seamlessly transitioned it into game 2, and they're just having their way with definitely not CB, and it is not looking good for the red side here, as I think your only saving grace might be the Smolder, but they're going to have a hard time breaking through the Mel and getting anywhere close to being able to start applying their stacks, let alone do anything with it. And if they send out the ultimate and Mom's Breath comes through, Sanctum can just hit a W and turn it around the other way and do double the damage.
That's definitely something that they're going to consider, as Smolder is about 50 stacks behind of his usual center point that they want to be, as Cataclysm just tries to look for the Varus, and he's going to say, no, I got a flashy, I am Barbar Jonks.
Yeah, which is a great for them.
As Malthahar getting caught by the Mal, and the damage just coming off from this champion is ridiculous, as Sanctum once again goes on a killing spree 3-0 on the map with 18 minutes.
Yeah, that literally Girthquake just walks barely away from and Applejack's barely away from Momo B5. I think, or Momo B5. I do think that maybe the play for Malzahar now is anytime that Mel lands anything on him, just ult, right? And just buy yourself a little bit of time so that you can move right or left or whatever after the fact. But allowing her to get in range, get 2 spells on you, and then ult is just so it's so detrimental to what you want to be doing, and every time that she gets close enough to land anything, you just kind of die. And Mel's one of those champions where the Q ticks so many times, so the first the Malzahar shield may be able to negate the first Q damage.
As we do have a fight trying to shuffle as 4 men jump onto this Cho'Gath, as he is going to ult. Mom's Breath and the Equalizer comes down, but it's just not going to be enough damage, as there's going to be 4 men also sieging mid on the side of PTL, as they're going to say, hey, we're gratefully give you this turret, as we're just gonna take second turret for the side of PTL.
What just cleansed them? Yeah,
No,
they get it there. It looked like Wukong got cleansed there, but I guess not. I guess he ended up dying. Maybe it was the clone, but did end up dying under the turret there. So Malzahar does get one kill, going their way. So Momo, little bit of extra there, in their pocketbook. They do have the Blackfire done. It looks like they're going for the Leandri's. Ooh, Alpha with the fancy feet.
Mel's attack just barely misses. She sends back
Yeah.
the W to Smolder as in a hello. And yeah, I'm just looking at the Smolder stacks, and I'm hoping they can get online before this game's over.
Yeah, I think they will before it's over. Whether it's early enough that they're able to follow up and win this is another thing. Like, we just saw 4 members basically blow their entire load onto the Cho'Gath, and he just, to be fair, he did have flash, but he basically just walks away, right? And just does whatever he wants now. Like, he's going to be so hard as the kinetic recurrent is completed, the hollow radiance is completed, the boots are done. Once he gets a little bit of armor on him, like, what's Jarvan and Smolder going to do to him at that point?
Flash being used by Smolder as just Karma's walking up to get a little bit of a 1v1. She is going to flash out the ult as Barbar Jinx just gets caught out. And the kill going in favor for Team 2, definitely not CB, as a good pickup there for their side of the map.
PTL biting off a little bit more than they can chew. The Karma getting up. It does get the tether onto Alpha, but a really nice play by Janna. Heads up on Girthquake to be able to just get in there, get the shield on him right away, and then assess the situation. Then throw out the tornado, then get the whirlwind there, and blast your ult to keep Barbar from being able to shoot anymore onto Alpha. So great job from Girthquake on that play. Definitely saved the Smolder, if not saved probably the entire team, because if Dark Archon's able to stay there and follow up after Barbar gets the kill on that Varus, that could have just completely turned the game on its head and could definitely be like the end for TNCB. So as of right now, Girthquake saving the game for DNCB for the moment. You are still looking at a 7-3 dragon, 3 dragon stack on the side of PTL. So this is a big hill to climb, but she did make it possible there.
Now we do have 5 members hopping onto the side of PTL as this dragon's gonna respawn, and you do have the Cho'Gath, and the Smite from the Wukong will make it a bit difficult in order for them to play for this, as that's something that they do have to consider when they're trying to get some objectives.
I think that is the right call. Let them have the objective. If I was PTL, I would have red base over there on the Cho'Gath for a free thing, but we are going to get an ult from the Malzahar, but no kills just yet.
Equalizer will go down as the engage tries to go on, as 4 members are low, 2 members are low for the side of PTL, as they will most likely get out to safety as the re-engage comes in from the Jarvan, but they're just jumping up and down as this Cho'Gath is neutralizing, and a hell of a shot comes from Varus and just instantly deletes Applejacks as they overstep that boundary.
Yeah, it was great timing by Sanctum to pop that ultimate onto the Jarvan. I think I had one other member tag there as well, but we are starting to see Alpha is starting to come online on the Smolder, starting to pump out a lot of damage. Redface was super low. I know Momo ended up ulting somebody that stream lagged just a little bit, so we didn't get to see exactly who it was, but the damage is starting to come in for DNCB, and as long as Girthquake can keep playing this well on this Janna and keep this protect the president comp flowing, we are starting to see an avenue where they can come in and actually win this. But a lot of the onus is going to be on Sanctum to not allow Smolder to get his ultimate and his W off and keep these stacks going, and sort of like curtail some of the damage and send it back, because it does look like Applejacks is going to want to try to contest this Baron.
Dragon has been spotted for the Jarvan. It is up to him whether he wants to take this 50-50. The damage is coming out slow in order for them to get this Dragon. Now they do have the Smite and the Cho'Gath in order to neutralize this, but whose side would it be, as the Baron will just go down for the blue team, as he's just going to be inside there trying to get away. Will it be enough damage, as the ultimate from the Mal will go off, with Red Face Beast just eating the Malzahar, as 4 members with an empowered Baron once again will be pushing out this mid lane or looking to reset, but some desperation. Definitely didn't want them to have that, but it's just Cho'Gath with Wukong, and it's going to be really tough for these objectives going into them.
Yeah, it definitely is. And now you're getting your jungle is basically getting eaten up by the enemy team too. So there goes any way that Jarvan's going to be able to come back into this game. They're falling so far behind now. As you see on the bottom of the screen, you have basically a 500 or more lead gold-wise in every single lane. This bot lane lead is a little bit over 3k total, 1.7k on the Varus. So tall order for DNCB to hold off PTL and get to this late game. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to. Yeah, as Redface just kind of walks up into Woven Alchemist and just does whatever they want. Would have been a good time to get a Mobo ultimate from... Oh, God.
Will the damage be enough, as there is a bit of a tussle on the top side? Smolder almost online with 200 stacks. This Baron might work in favor for them in order for them to stack up and get to the select game, but the pressure being held by PTL is a lot, and they are just trying to get this turret, perhaps reset, and look for some more plays.
Yeah, he should be hitting that 225 now. Oh, it's at 205. Oh.
Ultimate being used by the Mel, not enough damage, barely coming out through. The Mom is going to be called as it nearly misses. It only hits the Cho'Gath as they are looking for the Wukong on the engage. As the counter engage comes in, General not going to be enough as the Chains of Corruption do hitting 3 members with a lot of damage coming out. But what's 1-for-1 trade for both Grumblers on both sides as the pressure still goes on for the side of PTL.
Yeah, and I love Varus pushing forward here. I think the rest of his team on different wavelengths though, but I do think that they probably could have taken that fight if they wanted. There was a lot of ultimates and summoners used on the side of DNCB. And one thing that, you know, the reason why I love playing Mel into Smolder so much is like right there, right? Like the ultimate comes out, it actually missed Sanctum, so it didn't even use the reflection. And then the W comes out from Alpha, and as the snot ball is coming out, it just hits the W, and it ends up coming back and hitting 4 members, kills the Jarvan, like kills, you know, just does so much. It's just such a counter to that champion. And now the Smolder stack sitting at 221. He is going to hit this 225 potentially, more than likely before this next team fight. The biggest thing now is they're going to have to find a way to get him to sort of get a lot of poke off and be able to actually use this and then have some sort of follow-up damage. I think that's the other problem with this too, is where do they get the follow-up damage from? Momo cannot walk up. He basically gets deleted as soon as Sanctum lands anything onto him. As just more of this jungle is being squeezed out from DNCB here as the jaws of life are closing in on them. Their playoff hopes are looking more and more like it's going to be running through the... that was an odd interaction there.
Do get traded off, so a little bit right side. It looks like the Smolder is now online, Fel, so let's hopefully they can play this game out.
Now he's just got to land it, right? I mean, you do have the rapid fire cannon, makes it really easy, but you are sitting on basically 1.5 damage item, right? Like rapid fire cannon is nice for the extra range, but you're going to be using it a lot on minions. Yeah, if they stay away from the back line of that queue, it's not much they can do. But I do want to see PTL keep this pressure up, because right now they're basically 4-1-ing, but then they're leaving their Cho'Gath out by himself.
The engage does come out, the ult being used by Mel, just hitting Alpha Jax. The damage not going to be enough. Cho'Gath just face checking the turret as he's pretty tanky and just can walk up. As we do have another initiation, Mom's ultimate does go off as Cho'Gath just chops down and eats the Rumble. And another member is just going to go down, but Mel just doing a lot of damage. Wukong going down, but it is going to be a worthy trade as the damage just barely misses and Alpha will be getting out to safety, but they do have 2 members going down for DMCB as this Elder is spawning.
Yeah, there's a really good ultimate from Varus. You got to change the corruption onto the Smolder, and then just barely, like maybe 5 or 6 pixels difference between Sanctum getting a kill onto Alpha and ending this game and not. The damage is starting to come through from Alpha, right? We see that as he gets his Mortal Reminder completed. He has done a lot. He did do a lot of damage in that last fight, and we do now see that his stacks are only going to get bigger, right? So the So the ability for him to execute is going to get easier because it's going to have more percentage of their health. So the later on in this game, we are hitting the 30-minute mark. We did talk about like 35, 40 minutes is kind of like the stop dead timer for PTL. So they have about 10 minutes to really ramp up the pressure and end this game as quickly as they can. Otherwise, they are going to have to deal with this ever scaling comp for the side of DNCB. I think that outside of Mel Malzahar, every other lane, well, yeah, and Cho'Gath, I guess. So the top and the mid will outscale, but Jarvan I like a lot better as far as like the team fight and coordination of being able to drop everything together, more than PTL. And obviously the Smolder is just going to completely outscale the Varus as this game goes on. And it looks like they're going to go for the Baron instead of keeping up this pressure. So probably go back to some sort of, 4-1 with the Baron buffed minions coming into here.
Yeah, they do have the Elder stacked on top of the Baron, and they do have a minute on it, and I think it's going to be enough for them to just force mid, as a lot of damage is going to come out, and you do have that Elder execute. So it could be looking like a potential game over, as they are walking up. PTL looking for their victory with double buffs enabled.
Yeah, and I don't know at what point do you use the equalizer here. At what point do you like go in, right? Because there's not really any avenue that they can stop PTL from pushing. They are still going to have about 30-40 seconds on this Elder Dragon. They can force a fight, and DNCB will have to respond. They're just going to have to kind of hope that Sanctum doesn't have the reflect on, and they can catch maybe Cho'Gath under getting double tapped on turrets and lock him down.
Ultimate gonna be used to probably clear the wave, but the super minions are just gathering as the pressure for DMC continues to grow. As immediately a double kill with the Elder goes on to the Mel, and it is just a fight gonna ensue as Wukong tries to make something happen, but he will go down as another kill is just gonna be picked up at the side of Barbar Jonks, as this Elder and Baron combo is a little bit too much, as a clean ace will happen. 3 members for PTL will end this game.
Yeah, and I'm pretty confident to call this one the Sanctum series. I mean, good job by the entire side of Phantom Troupe Lucifer. They did a great job of just controlling the tempo and every aspect basically of this game. I think if you look at both of them, like almost all of the dragons went their way except for one when they traded a dragon for a tier 1, 2 tier 1s and a tier 2, right? And the kills obviously on their side, damage all the way on their side, but Sanctum able to game 1 be able to just completely dominate Momo be vibing on the Ahri versus Ori matchup. And then this one too, like it wasn't as flashy. They didn't have the 3-0-1 score line at like 10 minutes into it, but they were able to just sort of stay in there, wait for the right opportunity, and then all of a sudden it was like boom, 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 like just catching 2 or 3 people out with the Mel, hitting the ultimate, and then just like ending the fight before it starts. Sanctum 100% just put this entire team on their back. Not that there was a lot to carry because every lane did their job, but very good. Very impressive from the side of PTL and Sanctum, especially.
Indeed, and PTL just looking to play toward their strength, making sure that this bot lane does not get online. And as you see, they just continue to punish, with Sanctum being the MVP once again in my book. I will say, definitely just a lot of damage coming out.
Yeah, 1000%. A lot of damage, a lot of coordinated fighting. I really liked the way that they played. It was a pleasure to watch them. And for the side of definitely not CB, you are relegated to the losers bracket, but you do have another way in. And if there's one thing that this team is all about, it's about resilience, right? Like they've had to endure so much during this season to even get here, and they've put themselves in a position where they can now recollect themselves, go into the losers bracket. They are going to end up having to claw their way back into it, but if anybody can do it,